streamlining for cake.
All right, we're back with more Christmas list stuff. In this case, yeah, it's Vlogmas.
Oh yeah, Vlogmas.
In this case, like I did a list of ideas for readers, and then we did our Christmas list. So we're going to talk about some books we asked for. I mean, I asked for an obscene amount of books. Like, I would say most of my Christmas list is just books.
I didn't get any books.
So I'm just going to talk about a few.
Watch no books.
And then Sir Chong had a few books as well, not comics. So I'll tell you. So I asked for Sherry LaPena's Everyone Here Is Lying, because I've really enjoyed her books that I've read in the past. I did hear, I think it was the Honest Book Reviewer said that he thought the end was ridiculously stupid. So, yay.
Something to look forward to.
The thing with thrillers, though, for me, is that, like, even when they're dumb, they're entertaining, usually, to a point. So, like, the YA ones I struggle a bit more with. But, like, this kind of book, even if it's dumb, I'll probably enjoy it at least for part of it. So, it'll probably at least be a few hours that I won't feel like I wasted. So, hopefully, I got this one. And then Sir Chong asked for Captain Blood.
So, apparently I asked for this book. I don't recall this happening. She's like, you asked for this book? I'm like, I did? So, earlier this year, I was reading some pirate books, and I have to assume that I must have been like, well, I like these pirate books, so I probably looked up what's a good pirate book, and I'm guessing the internet told me Captain Blood, so I must have been like, buy me this book. I don't recall this happening, but it does sound like a pretty fun pirate book, so I guess I must have asked for it. Cool.
I don't know if I bought it.
Great.
So I also asked for The Spare Room because I had read a couple other books that Andrea Bartz wrote. And I really liked, I think it was We Were Never Really Here. And then there was another one that I thought was okay. But again, like I said, even like a mediocre thriller tends to be fun. So I don't know. I mean, this one sounds really great. So we'll see if I get this one. Sir Chunk?
What is it, Cemetery Dance?
Well,
or just Stephen King in general?
It's just a couple covers of it.
Oh. All right. So I really like the book It, but I don't have a copy of it. We had a paperback copy, and I believe that was one of the books that got donated against my knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? So I wouldn't mind having a cool copy of this. I mean, obviously, I like the kind of the original hardcover. That's nice. Doesn't have to be a first edition, just like that cool first cover. And also the Cemetery Dance version is awesome, but it's like absurdly expensive, so I'm not going to get that. But any kind of cool hardcover of it would be awesome.
All right, then I asked for Paperbacks from Hell, which is basically a history of like cheesy 70s and 80s horror. And I grew up loving this kind of stuff, like the really, really over-the-top cheesy horror. Then like Annie's Book Swap had so much of this. And you would just go in and like at Annie's Book Swap originally it was like literally a swap. You would go in, you would buy the books, which were already only like 50 cents or $1. And then they would have like deals where you could buy like 10 books for like $5 or something. And then when you finished them, you would return them and you could then swap them for store credit and then buy more books with it. And then eventually, like in the 90s, they changed their business model. So if you exchanged a book, instead of getting like store credit, you get like 50% store credit. So like if it was a book that it would be worth $1, you'd only get 50 cents for it, essentially. And then they went under because I was dumb.
Well, they're probably going to go under anyway because it sounds like they were only selling one book out of 100, so it wasn't going to work out for them.
Well, people donated books, and yeah, and we don't have a lot of used bookstores in our area. So, but anyway, I just think is fun. I'd really like to kind of, I'm sure there's books that I read because it's like, used to read so much of this garbage. And like, I really would love to kind of like flip through and see if like, have I read some of these? Do I remember them? And I just find it interesting. You know, this is like a really interesting thing. And then, you know, and I think a lot of people use this as like a checklist as well of books they should try to go down and, you know, try and track down at some point. So this is something I thought sounded intriguing.
Yeah, right. So, what was this, like June or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
It was like 1 a.m, and I was like wandering around, and I saw that this movie was available.
Greyhound?
It's called The Greyhound. It's like this submarine movie. It's basically just like almost a 2-hour like naval battle. And I was like, I feel like watching this. And like 5 minutes in, I was like, this is exactly, you know, this doesn't happen very often, where you start watching something and you're like, this is 100% exactly the perfect movie I wanted to watch right now. That like never happens. And so it's not even that good of a movie, but I enjoyed the absolute hell out of it. And I was like, watching the credits, it's based on a book. Like, well, I'll be basing that book. So I asked for the book version, and hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, for some reason, this movie is impossible to find. Like, I can get it on eBay, but like Amazon, it's like $40 for it. It's like super hard to
I
get.
think I watched it for free on Amazon.
No, I know. You can get it streaming. You can't get it like the DVD.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, so my next one is The Last Devil to Die, which is the newest Thursday Murder Club mystery. I actually have the third one from last Christmas I still have yet to read.
Why do I buy you things?
But I do really want to read them. And those are going to be like probably right after Christmas. I think I'm going to try to dive into both of them because I assume this is going to be under the tree because he knows, like he had me rate my out of all my books and all my pops that I asked for. He had me like rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, like so that he could like prioritize obviously the 10s and 9s. And this was like 20 billion and 6 or something. This is like the one I wanted the most.
Probably should have bought you some books.
Anyway,
But
so
I didn't.
love the Thursday Murder Club.
No books for you.
So this is the newer version, but
I don't want this.
well,
Anyway, so as you may have noticed from previous, or maybe it'll be future videos, I collect a lot of random stuff because I'm a bit of a hoarder. And one thing I like to collect is the old school choose your own adventure books, like mostly the Rose Estes ones and stuff. And there's like 36 of them. And I asked for a couple of those. I have most of them. I'm missing like 7 or something. So yeah, they're books.
yeah, the ones he's missing, a lot of them are like the Conan and
they're
Tarzan ones, and those are ridiculously expensive. But those are not your priority.
Yeah, but they're pretty awesome. I like them. I've been reading them since I was like a little dude, and so I want to go back and get those.
Yeah, and then they started re-releasing. You didn't read the new one because I got him one I think last Christmas.
Yeah, I read part of it. I think
a new version.
It was like a Ravenclaw, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, Ravenloft. And then there was I also got you the Choose Your Own Adventure Stranger Things book.
Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't read that yet.
Yeah, so he blames me, but see, he doesn't read his stuff either.
You just bought me that though, didn't you?
No, that was like Valentine's Day, I think.
Oh.
Anyway, then I asked for Thorn Hedge, which is a new T. Kingfisher, and as I've mentioned multiple times, I love T. Kingfisher, and my goal is to like read everything she has. I've only read 2 books, but they've just been both so good that I'm like, I must read all of her books. And this is, I think, a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but I don't know. I just like her. She's hilarious. She's kind of like, she reminds me a lot of Neil Gaiman, and I love that style. So it's like fun, kind of snarky, but also like solid mystery, not mystery, like fantasy kind of fairy tale.
All right, so I have a weird completionist need, and so I've read most of Stephen King's books. There's about 9 I haven't read. I think like 9, yeah. And there's like
that's it. At this
yeah,
point?
I think there's 9 I haven't read. And there's some I don't own, and there's a few I think there's like 5 that I have neither read or own. And so I generally want all of them. So even though I really don't like the character of Holly at all, and I'm regretting the fact that this book exists, and I'm going to still read it, and I think it's a low percentage chance I like it. Who knows? Maybe I love it.
I think I'm going to try to read it.
I still want it
if you get it.
Because I feel like I have a disease that makes me have to get all of them.
Well, I think it's tough. I mean, you've been reading Stephen King for, 40-something years at this point?
I'm only 21 years old.
So, like, I mean, at this point, you've invested, like, literally the majority of your life. He has been writing since the year you were born. You guys
He's
are,
only
like...
been writing 21 years?
Anyway,
it's
so
not really believable.
Right.
I'm trying.
All right. So the last thing I asked for was a nonfiction. This is Dark Tide, The Great Boston Molasses Flood of 1919. And the reason I picked this book is it's literally the only book I could find about this. And we're obviously...
I did a whole lesson on this.
I'm from the Boston area, and there's no other books on it. But I would like to know more, because the only thing I know about it is obviously from, like, Wikipedia, or when we went... My friend came to visit me in high school, because I had moved and then I moved back. And so my parents, we took her around Boston for the day and so they took us on like one of those sort of trolley sightseeing rides around the city. and they talked about the Boston molasses flood. And since then, I've always been so intrigued by it. But and it's not a major. I mean, it's a major part of history for the area, but people don't necessarily talk about it. And so I just thought it was really cool. There was a book about it, and I want to read about it.
I don't think I knew you cared about this because I did an entire lesson on this before.
It's literally on the Amazon wish list, and it says next to it, this is the only book on this.
I brought our molasses to school to illustrate the speed at which molasses moves.
No, I didn't know that's why you brought it to school.
Yeah, well, what the hell else was I doing with molasses?
I don't know. I thought you were doing some kind of science experiment with it.
I mean, kind of.
Anyway.
All right, so this is kind of a book. So these are like, if you know about Dungeons and Dragons, they have new editions all the time. This is a 5e edition, and this is a rule book. I really like these designs. They're hardcover designs. The art in them is awesome, and I just am obsessed with reading rule books. So, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, 5e. Boop.
All right, bye.